When you got out of the teams, like why did you leave? What was the motivation
My
there?
first son was born in 2014. My second son was born in 2015. And I looked at those boys, and though I wanted to stay in, I wanted to do 20 years, but I looked at my kids and I was just like, I want to be home. It wasn't like I was scared of dying or anything like that. For me, it was just like, I want to be home. Because even like outside of deployments, like workup, you're gone a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you're going out to Utah, you're going out to Nyland, you're going out to, Mojave Desert, you're going out to all these places, and you come back for a week, then you got to go here, and then you come in, and it's a lot. And I just knew that I got it out of my system, and I needed to be home with my boys and my wife and kids. And so it was a tough decision, but that was ultimately the reason why I decided to pop smoke.
It sounds like you jumped right into things.
Yeah.
As far as like you mentioned, you got the call from the organization Sacramento, started focusing on some of the human trafficking.
But I was in
things.
grad school when I got out. Actually, like when I was I got my bachelor's, I want to say 2 years before I got out.
You went to college while you were in there.
Yeah, I want to say like a year and a half. I finished quick. My bachelor's really, really quick. I remember my counselors were just like, "You're crazy." 'Cause I just stacked classes. I was just like, I'm taking as many classes as I can to finish this early. And then I was in grad school getting my master's in organizational strategy. Like I could have gone the MBA route, but there's so many people with MBAs that I didn't want to do the MBA route. So I did the same business school, University of Charleston, West Virginia, but I went the organizational strategy route. And I was doing that because I was going to go in business consulting full time because my brother-in-law is a YPO guy. You ever familiar with YPO?
YPO?
Stands for Young Presidents Organization. In order to be in, you have to become or be a millionaire and billionaire under the age of 40. There's chapters all around the world. And these guys control a lot of the wealth, and women control a lot of the wealth around the world. And so my brother-in-law is a YPOer. He's part of the Toronto chapter.
Sounds like the Illuminati.
But the good people. But he was getting me a lot of consulting jobs. And I didn't want to just rely on, I was a SEAL, and, so let's go charge that hill, be a team player. I wanted to have the education, the theory behind it as well. So that's what I was planning on doing full time after I got out in January 2016, and that's why I was in grad school. Did you have any?
I mean, you were in the teams. You did some really serious shit. Did you have any mental struggles or something coming home? Did some of it stay with you?
I would. There's always going to be a little something residual of the stuff that we do and the stuff that most guys do when they've gone in combat. So for sure, I think that I found a good process for myself to keep the demons at bay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To keep my focus. My faith is a big part of who I am, and prayer and relying on God and that's my center, especially having this realization or belief that everything happens for a reason and everything happens just the way it's supposed to happen. And that alone is comforting to me, especially when things go bad. And I've had so many bad things happen to me, even like in the last few months. But just knowing that good will come out of it or has come out of it, you know what I mean? And so I would say that faith has been a big part of keeping my mind clean, keeping me focused, and keeping me, on the right path.
Did you have that as a kid at all?
No.
When did that come in for you?
When I was 26. So I had fluctuated between atheism and agnosticism up until the time I was 26.
What did it?
I had a rock bottom moment. And I tried all kinds of different things to fix me and to fix my situation, and nothing I tried worked. And my brother, ever since he was in college, he'd been a Christian, and he would always tell me, he said, "Remi, when, not if, but when you hit rock bottom, just remember to cry out to Jesus. And I remember making fun of him and mocking him and doing that all, just like, you're stupid, like, get away from me with all that crap. And when I hit my bottom moment, man, and mentally my brain was screwed.
Did you talk about that bottom moment already? Was that something we discussed?
No.
Are you comfortable talking about that, or?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a combination of things, man. It was, in short, it was, I treated a lot of people poorly. My mom, my brother, a girl who I was going to marry, you know what I mean? And I went out to the wilderness, long story short, had the chance to really reflect on my life and really reflect on the decisions that I made, and I didn't like what I saw. And it crushed me. It crushed me to think the things that I did to my mom. Talked about stealing her engagement ring, stealing money from her as a kid. Like, all of these things started coming to my forefront, things that happened. You know, there's certain triggers. I remember when I was at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute.
Oh, shit. You went there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there was a girl there, Brad knows, named Jamala, awesome actress. And she did a scene that triggered something in her that really took her to a dark place where she was just crying hysterically. Yeah. She ran out of the building, and I ran out there and I chased her. And she was hyper. She could barely breathe. She was just out of it. And that one scene, that one thing in that scene, I can't remember quite what it was, triggered something that happened to her in her past in a strong way. And that's what happened to me. This one instance of being able to reflect triggered all of these things, what I did to my mom, things that I did years ago and I had thought about, but never quite like this. You know, things I did to my mom, things that I did to my brother, how I used to disrespect him and not honor him, and then things I did to this girl. You know, I mean, there's a lot more to the story, but I broke my leg in jump school, couldn't walk for 3 months. And in that 3 months, this girl, like, she dropped everything to take care of me. And I had been so angry at the world that I had poured out all that anger onto her. And she didn't deserve it. And once I was able to walk, I left. I had been cheating on her anyway. But once I was able to walk, I left her. And I remember her crumbling to the floor and just saying, "How could you do this to me?" And I said, "Get out of my apartment. Why are you still sitting on my floor?" And then she got up, cried, and left. And she had given up so much for me. And I eventually got back with her, but still cheating on her, and never physically abusive or anything. Like, I never put a hand on her or anything like that, but just like putting her down. You know what I mean? And so, again, having that moment where I'm reflecting on all the things I did to my mom, reflecting on all the things I did to my brother, reflecting on all the things I did to other people, reflecting on what I did to this woman I met, that crushed me. And to think that I couldn't go back and fix it was horrifying. Because, again, going back to what I said before, my dad's mind is that what I inherited from my dad was this ability to see a problem or see a door and figure out a way to fix that problem. That's the way my mind has always been wired, everything that I face, everything that I do. And I think that that's what helps me as a writer, whether it's a screenwriter writing books. It's like, you know, this ability, this challenge to be able to find a way out of a corner that I might have written myself into. And that was the first time in my life that I felt like I had created this monster and I couldn't fix it. And I couldn't go back and fix all of the things that I did to all of the people that said they loved me. And I tell you what, that is at least for me, that was a very horrifying thing for me. To a point where I was just like, man, I don't even want to live anymore. You know what I mean? I can't live with the stuff that I did. And that was when, you know, I took my brother's advice. It was just like, yo, I don't know if you're real, Jesus, but help me. And I can't tell you that things changed right away, but I could tell you that I started to feel peace. And I started to I felt hope. I felt a hope that I had never felt ever in my life. And I felt like the father that I had been chasing my whole life had been there.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.